This is algebra notes for sections 5-4, notes number 26, write linear equation in standard form. And it says, how do you write an equation in standard form? The way to write an equation in standard form is to have the x and the y on the left side, the x in front, and the x has to be a whole number, and the b an integer. Okay, for example 1, we have two of them here. It says write an equation in standard form that passes through the given point and that given slope. So we're going to start like what we did yesterday in writing it in the point slope form, which your point slope form I'll write on the side, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. And I'm going to substitute these values into that equation, so I have x1 and y1 already. If I start replacing it in that problem, I'll have y minus 5 equals my slope, which I'm going to slide that negative to the top, so I have negative 3 over 5. Close your open your parentheses and have x minus x1, which is a negative 8, which negative 8 turns that to a positive 8. Now I need to simplify this at this point to try to get it in standard form, and one way is I need to get rid of this fraction, and to do so I'm going to take the denominator and I'm going to multiply it on the other side. So I'm going to put the left side in parentheses and a 5 in front so that it is no longer on the right hand side. So my problem looks like 5 parentheses y minus 5 equals negative 3 x plus 8. Now I need to do the distributive property. Okay, that means I'm going to multiply 5 times y, which is 5y, and 5 times a negative 5, which is a negative 25, equals negative 3 times x is still negative 3x, and negative 3 times 8 is a negative 24. I need to move the x to the left side and place it in the very front position. So this is a subtracting of 3x, so it changes to an addition of 3x. So now I have 3x plus 5y minus 25 is equal to negative 24. My next step will be my final step. I need to move the constant back over to the other side, so I'm going to add 25 and add 25, and I'll get my final answer if I can squeeze it in. 3x plus 5y equals 1. And I had to squeeze it in there. Okay, I'm sure you need to see that again. If I go with the first one over here, be x1 and y1, that means I'm going to have y minus y1, which is a negative 3. That changes that to a positive 3. And then I have the 1/8, parentheses x minus x1, which is a negative 7, so that changes that to a positive 7. Okay, I'm going to take the 8 and I'm going to multiply it over here on the other side. And in doing so, I distribute. 8 times y is 8y. 8 times 3 is 24. 1 times x is 1x, and 1 times 7 is 7. I need to move the x to the left, so I'm going to subtract an x. That'll give me negative 1x plus 8y plus 24 equals 7. I'm going to move the 24 back to the other side and subtract 24. That'll give me negative 1x plus 8y is equal to negative 17. Now this is almost correct. If I look up here, it says A has to be a whole number. A is my front letter, that's with my X. So this is leading with a negative 1. Negative 1 is not a whole number, so I need to multiply this by a negative 1. When I do so, it changes all of my equations, because negative 1 times a negative 1 is now a positive 1, and negative 1 times 8 is a negative 8, and then negative 1 times negative 17 turns it to a positive 17, and then I have my answer. The A, the front number, cannot be negative. It must be positive whole numbers. Okay. What if they just give me 2 points? I still have to find the slope. Gotta find the slope. Here's my slope formula. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. My coordinates, x1, y1, and x2, y2. So what goes on top? So I'm going to have m equals, what's on top? y2 is negative 3 minus, what's y1? Negative 1, so I'm going to make that a plus 1. Change the sign. The denominator, I have x2 minus x1. What's x2? It's 9 minus x1, that is 5. Now simplify. Negative 3 plus 1 is a negative 2. 9 minus 5 is 4, so that means my slope reduces to negative 1/2. I'm going to pick one of my points. This time I think I'll take 5 and negative 1. And I'm going to plug it into my formula. My point slope, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. If I fill it in, that means I'll have y minus negative 1, which changes it to a positive 1. Then I have my negative 1/2, and x minus x1, which is 5. Alright, I have that fraction again. So to get rid of that fraction, I'm going to multiply the left side by the denominator, which is a 2. When I multiply, this is going to be 2 times y, which is 2y. And then 2 times 1, which is 2. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. And negative 1 times a negative 5 is a positive 5. I need to move the x now to the left to get it in the proper form. When I bring it down, what do I have? Okay, I should have 1x plus 2y plus 2 is equal to 5. Am I done? No. I've got to move the plus 2, so it means I'm going to subtract 2 and bring everything down. Am I done? Yes, this is my answer. Okay, we're going to repeat the same process. Have to first find slope. We'll label my coordinate x1 and y1, x2 and y2. Write your formula. Fill it in. Okay, I come out with 8 plus 4 over negative 1 minus 12, which gives me 12 over negative 13. So my slope is a strange one this time, 12 over negative 13. And picking a point, I'm going to pick the smaller numbers, which I'm saying is negative 1 and 8. So this will be my x1 and my y1. Okay, so we're going to our point slope formula. I want you to fill it in, see if we match. Okay. Do you have y minus 8 equals 12 over negative 13, x plus 1? Hope so. Okay. Next step is take care of this denominator. I'm going to multiply through on the other side. When I distribute, negative 13 times y is still negative 13y. And then negative 13 times a negative 8 is a positive 104. I want to multiply the 12 in. That gives me 12x plus 12 on the right hand side. What do I move now? Well, hopefully you said we got to move the x. This is a positive 12x, so when I move it, it makes it negative 12. When I bring it down, it gives me negative 12x minus 13y plus 104 equals 12. Am I done? No. I have to now move the 104. So I'm going to subtract 104. And bring everything down. That gives you negative 12x minus 13y equals, and what is that? And that gives me negative 92. Am I done? No. I have it leading with a negative. Can't have that. So I'm going to multiply everything by a negative. So negative 1 times negative 12 is positive 12. Negative 1 times negative 13 is positive 13. And negative 1 times negative 92 is positive 92. Now am I done? Yes, finally. Finally I'm done. Alright, on the next page on the back of your paper, you now have independent practice problems. I want you to try to work these problems. I did very little of this on my calculator, so you should be able to work these problems, and then we'll check them in class to see how you did.